Morning guys, Moorhuhn here. Today I want to talk about the endgame upgrades of my Totem Lich. But before we go into the details, I want to showcase the character in its current form. We're doing a tier 16 expedition juiced map with a boss, so that you can see pretty much what it's about. This is not a no modifier map. This has monster speed, extra damage, chilled ground, some annoying stuff, some good stuff, but overall just a very okay-ish map to showcase the build, I do think. Um, I haven't had infinite time, so the upgrades aren't like insane, but we have done a lot of changes to how we play the character more than like insane, like just upgrades for pure currency. So actually the build hasn't gotten insanely much more expensive, but significantly much better single target. Also, there are quite some options for when you do prepare or when you do prefer to do a more clear focused approach and don't care as much about single target. It even gets cheaper and way stronger for clear. Currently the clear is very chill, especially because I swapped away from the bad movement speed boots and now we have 30% move speed boots. I do probably do the rituals at the end because I, for some reason, still am somewhat scared of rituals when my totems die and stuff like that, so we don't want any incidents here. As I do also want to show the boss damage and the new rotation. Because we have changed some stuff. As you can see, I am now reserving 100 mana of mine, so I don't have 5 totems anymore. Which, well, is less stuff to put on when you're fighting bosses, and it generally helps at like having all your totems up when it's one less, and at the same time maintaining the same damage or even more damage at oftentimes. Because one of the first changes we have done is we have taken 100 spirit, or actually 90 spirit with reservation from quality, and taken an archmage. This makes these skills a bit more expensive, but we do have tons of regeneration, especially in the curse tree, so we don't really care about the additional costs too much. But Archmage not only gives us about 30%, slightly less, like 27%, I do think, damage as extra damage, which makes up for the loss of totem in damage. It does also give shock, because we are dealing lightning damage. So actually we are dealing quite a bit more damage right now. Also, the next thing that we have changed is we dropped the bow setup, which means that we cannot throw the ensnaring arrow down anymore, which means we are actually having one less dot on the enemies. But from my gameplay, I realized I'm using the arrow very rarely, and even on bosses it wasn't insanely reliable. So mostly we just dropped it because it wasn't great quality of life to use it, and changed to a staff in the offhand, and change the passive trees to give our curses and our damage setup a distinct passive tree. So we have way stronger curses now, and we have way stronger totems now, which is a very nice bonus. Also, we, as I said, changed into staff, so we can use the Sigil of Power spell, which is extremely strong. So this one provides us with insane single target capabilities, and just is very good. Though it is one more button in our rotation, but more or less just replaces the arrow from before. So we are changing, like, we are dropping one projectile for like a very big more multiplier here. Also, what this staff is giving us is a lot of mana regen, because I'm running a staff in the offhand with like 82% increased mana regen, which just is a lot. And then on this skill tree, again, we have even more mana regen for the second tree. So in the offhand tree, we have, when Arcane searches up, like 600 mana regen nearly, I do believe. 525, so a lot of mana regen, and you could go higher with some better gear than mine. This just ensures that we pretty much always are on a lot of mana. Also, I still could do some more gear changes. We currently still are running increased area. What's called magnifying effect. So basically we are missing out on a full damage support here, but the clear just feels nicer. Though the difference in clear is not insanely huge, so if you want you could just slot in a damage support and would probably clear nearly the same while dealing way more single target. Though I haven't changed it out yet. So for our rotation now, what we want to do is basically put everything down, throw the totems on the ground, put our dots on the enemy, and then get into the storm. But now my totems are too far away, so some bosses that teleport around are very annoying here. And the most recent addition to the build is the Mana Tempest, which is just an insanely cool thing to add. I thought he was throwing that one already. But you can see the damage is quite fine. We are not on the highest... Well, actually, are we? Take a look. We actually are on the highest map tier difficulty. I did just unlock it, so this was a tier 4 map boss. And you can see the damage is quite there and could be amplified further by, for example, a level 20 gem or something. Mine is corrupted to 20, so actually mine is already very, very strong, but the magnifying effect instead of concentrated effect, which would be 30%, I do believe, more damage, which is quite a lot. We're going to quickly finish off the map with the expedition there, and maybe the ritual, I'm not sure, but generally you have seen how the damage is, and this is one of the bosses where our single target is not as great because it just teleports away. So it kind of takes away from the experience of just getting the boss into the freeze. But yeah, Mana Tempest is very interesting because what Mana Tempest does is it creates a zone where when you are inside the zone, like here inside the storm zone, we get a ton of extra damage. But if we're casting spells, the mana costs are going up dramatically. However, one interaction with Mana Tempest and Totems is that when we just pull out our spells, place down the Totems, and yeah, then put on the Mana Tempest, our Totems gain the full buff of the Mana Tempest, but we are not draining more mana as long as we don't cast additional spells while inside the Mana Tempest. So this is a very, very strong interaction because usually Mana Tempest just is there for a couple of spells and then gets way too expensive to keep up. Because Mana Tempest adds the cost of the spell for its cost per second. What it drains from your mana pool. So not having the additional cost, but having the additional damage, which currently sits at 82% added lightning damage, and then some additional supports that are very good. Just as an insane damage boost single target. So basically if you end your rotation with Mana Tempest and then manage to stay in there, you just will have a very, very good time for damage and for deleting bosses. There was a fun clip. If you follow my TikTok, you would see it, or if you just check the clip on my Twitch, where I did fight Count Geonor, and he was just frozen and died and couldn't go into the storm phase. But that was very, very cool. It was my third, I do believe, fight with Citadel. And so, yeah. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with the build, especially with the iteration we have made and with the new movement speed, because it feels a lot better now to just run around and actually being a lot safer right now. Because generally you just don't get hit as much, and yeah. You can see it's just like running around, placing down this stuff, and everything around dies. We are at 10k energy shields, so overall we are very safe. Resistances are pretty much kept aside from chaos, which very much feels good, and we are somewhat overcapped, so we could undergo some gear changes, which I have not done yet. So yeah, so much to that. And let's actually quickly do the expedition, and I don't think we are going for the ritual because the video is getting dragged out a bit, and I just want to show you all the stuff we have added to the build. I do have to change bad setup, which is quite sad because I do like setup here. But this looks terrible. This. And then we go here. Yeah. Overall, having a lot of fun with Expedition. Just clearing it with this build feels very, very good. There are sometimes enemies that are very, very strong. And currently, additional cold damage is very dangerous to the build because I dropped a couple of freeze avoid nodes. Can you please stop? Which I'm getting back right now with the next level, but I want to get some other nodes in. Oh, right now this feels not going to be having trouble setting up the totems here. Yeah, stuff like this can happen if we're getting like off-screen a lot. Or chased down by some enemies, but usually the clear of Expedition feels very good. The area isn't really doing us a favor here, and as I said, we're getting chilled a lot right now and frozen. We do have to take a bit of care. But oftentimes when the Expedition explodes, you just see a totem spitting a ton of like projectiles in the general direction of where the explosion was, and then a couple of seconds later everything's gone. So even though when we have a more dangerous encounter like this one, and actually I haven't really looked at the mods we did unravel here, so oh yeah, it's a lot of extra damage. So not surprised they actually are hurting us. But what I do think, like, especially these like shots from above are very dangerous. But yeah. But anyways, we can just use our convalescence to feel safe. Right. Bit annoying that I'm very unlucky with Expedition Lockbox today. Haven't had a single Expedition drop today while farming. But yeah. This pretty much showcase, we've got 10% experience, nearly level 91 now, but you see, I'm not like level 95 or something, so I haven't played a ton myself, due mostly to time concerns or restraints. But let's get into showing the build when I get into my hideout. Oh, okay, why can't I? Okay, then I guess we do it here. The game doesn't want us in the hideout. So, first of all, the biggest changes, we have changed out the boots. Last time I was still wearing the boots for instant curse activation, and as you can see, when I now cast my Despair, it takes quite a while to explode, which isn't too bad because we just pre-cast it in front of bosses or put it on rares or something like that, but it doesn't matter too much. However, our Temporal Chains would suck very much if it had a delay, so on this now we are running Cursed Ground, so that we just put it down and then we let enemies walk into it. And the totems just shoot everything down. Feels very, very nice, very cool. For Spare, there is not much that has changed, except for we have changed the... Where is it? Contagion. We have changed the Arcane Surge to Contagion because I'm spamming it quite a bit, and this felt very good to me overall. We still run Unleash and Energy Barrier, and I should probably add another support here, but yeah, as I said, we haven't done a lot of upgrades, just changed a lot of techniques around. Then Essence Drain still with Swift Reflection, Chain, Considered Casting, and Intense Agony still feels good, but I mean, at some point I might drop Considered Casting because we don't really get the damage from the skill, and there isn't really a reason to slow us down with Considered Casting, so probably I just drop that, but sometimes it feels good to just like clear with it when we run a not so high map. So yeah, you can experiment around with like without Considered Casting. It isn't really necessary here. Then we have Convalescence, Second Wind, Ingenuity, Clarity. Nothing has changed here, except I do think I add Clarity because we've got more Spirit left, and there might be changes in the future where I get some Spirit back, about 50 is what I need to get rid of Clarity, and then add the Despair to a Curse Aura, just that we have a big Curse Aura around us, but probably would change, will change the Aura then, and Despair for the trigger then, but that's something for the future. It's just something I thought about, and we probably will change at some point. Then we got Archmage Intrude. Quality here is fairly important if you do get another breakpoint for Spirit, which I do get. So I don't need 500, just 493 to run Archmage and still have 4 totems up. And then Mana Tempest, the really strongest thing we added to the build, supported by Premeditation, Lightning Mastery, and Murderous Intent for Cunning, striking 15% more damage, added to the 82% added lightning damage, which is just huge. Like, we're getting so much damage out of Mana Tempest, it's absolutely insane, especially for the cost. It's just not a lot of cost that is in there. And actually, I haven't even put quality on there because I'm a lazy person. But this much to the changes for the skills. Then for the passive tree, what we did change is I got rid of Rapture the Soul, which is nice but not really necessary, and got a Juve slot here for maximum energy shield, cast speed, area effect of curses, and here we have volatility on kill, which we don't really use, but it's the best Juve I did have, so we currently are using this one. I really would argue for maximum energy shield, cast speed, and area of curse. It's very, very good. Wither could be good as well, but not really as needed because we're running a lot of added elemental or added lightning right now, so it's a little worse with the Wither. Wither still is extremely good, but you don't need it. And area effect of curse just feels very good because like our Tempt Chains is like so big, and we could get it even bigger. But yeah, it feels very, very good to have. The other ascendancies didn't change at all. Then what we did change is for the second tree, which is the green one, we just picked up a lot of area and curse nodes. So we've got area here, curse here. And then we've got red, the totem nodes and the chaos nodes and gold nodes here. Increase freeze build up and damage against frozen enemies. These 2 nodes are very, very good. Oh, this one is not, but this one is worth both the points. And then we did add in the Arcane Search nodes. However, I did drop Hallowed, which I will get back in 10% XP because I just noticed it is annoying. Like, having Hallowed helps a lot, not getting stunned, not getting frozen a lot. So yeah, we just want it back. But I did drop it out to get into the increased duration cluster, which I did not have previously. This has upsides and downsides. Downside is our Despair takes longer to cast, but as I said, it's not as bad. And the upsides are huge because we have longer totem duration, longer essence drain, longer everything duration, which is very huge. Just very, very nice to have. I think that's it for the changes on the passive tree. For the jewels, I did actually get 3 Grand Spectrums in. These are not necessary, you can run without them, but you can see that without them I would have a totem less, but this actually would be my advice if you just want more clear on the build, because now you can still have 3 totems, which is sufficient for bossing if you don't want to do high-end bossing. But can get 3 jewels that all look like this one with curse, area, cast speed, maximum energy shield, energy recharge rate, all that stuff. But these are just like adding a lot of spirit to my build. Like we're going from 424 to 493. So we're getting 70 spirit out of these nodes, which is extremely strong. We could get another 24 spirit here with a different jewel, but then we need some source of poison, which I haven't figured out yet. And I kind of don't want to swap this jewel in here, and the next jewel socket is so far away that it's not really justified to get it. So I'm having slight trouble getting a jewel socket into the build right now. Like another one, so... I would love to get Spirit here, because there's a very strong Spirit for notables give Spirit, and damages extra Chaos damage, which are very, very good. But I'm not sure how to get back the poison on hit, so yeah, have to figure that out. But yeah, that's something for the future, not yet done, and will probably end up being very expensive, because we do also have to crop Grand Spectrums then for stats, probably. And these are at 3 divines now, so not the cheapest. I did luckily buy myself when they had a drop. to 50 exalts per, so I got mine very, very cheap compared to what they are now. Then I did change out my Ventrose Gamble, which did have Spirit on it, and you could get Ventrose Gamble, the Spirit Notes here, and better Amulet or better Body Armor for the needed Spirit for Curse Aura, which would be very strong. But yeah, this is nearly everything I want to talk about, but the problem with the two trees is that we don't have great access to now changing our life pool, which is quite annoying. But one thing we did do is now run around with Visage of Aya. You don't have to keep it on you all the time, but generally what it does is that you gain Eldritch Battery. And now that we have Eldritch Battery, we just pick up Incinerate, and with Incinerate, because it's linked to Extraction, we can just change our life pool to low life. So this is a way easier or quicker way to get to low life when you do die and have to reset your HP pool to low. So you just take on the Visage of Aya, get to the pool you want, and then drop back in the other helmet, and you instantly recharge Energy Shield because you go from 0 to having Energy Shield. So recharge starts instantly. So you can be very precise with the life value you do want to have with this helmet, which is very, very nice. And then just an Incinerate setup with Extraction. Because of the nature of channel skills, it is not affected by Eldritch Empowerment and does not need Energy Shield to be cast. So we only have an Incinerate skill, but we can cast it very quickly, as you can see, to just spam our life pool down, which I maybe can show. We do actually get into the hideout at some point now, but I do think I have to relock. Actually, I do want to showcase how it looks when we actually go. Yeah, I failed to join the lockout screen. Can you fucking not kidding me, please? But yeah. Okay, this seems to be very. I do just get. This feels like we're getting backrolled so hard. Are the servers just dead? Okay. But you're getting the gist of it. Basically, you can spam it very quickly to get to the pool where you want to be. Since I cannot get back into the server, I guess this is it for the video today. So thanks for watching. If you have... Oh, we can on a different server. So let's see how far we got rollbacked quickly. Are we still in the sea pitch? Please tell me... have to... Oh, we actually got everything. Nice. Can we get into the hideout? My hideout doesn't just break. Yes. Okay, so I actually can showcase it. Quickly drop all the loot we have. Yeah, this actually looks really good. I'm getting distracted again. Offering max life. Mana regen, not too bad. Okay. Okay. But that's not what I want to show. What I want to show is having this. And now we can just like pick it a couple of times, go to 500 something HP, pick up the other helmet, and there you go. So this now actually is everything I wanted to, oh my god, show you. So if this was helpful to you, if you have other ideas how to improve the build, I'm always up for ideas. Also, I do have to make a shout out for the Archmage and Mana Tempest, because this was an advice or a recommendation from one of my viewers in Twitch chat. So thanks to that, Sorry, you're very, very good at making my builds better. Same last league with the Flicker Strike, a lot of good ideas from this guy. So shout out there, and yeah, very, very cool upgrades to the build. Feel free to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if this was helpful to you, and thanks for watching. See you in the next one.